What is up, guys? My name is Jayvious Johnson, and welcome to the Dad Lab. This podcast is where dads, future dads, and wannabe dads come together and share family stories, life lessons about fatherhood, and of course, other dad things. Today's topics are going to be why the Dad Lab, the purpose, what to look forward to in the Dad Lab, and what is it like being a father? I get that question a lot. But before we dive into today's topics, I just want to thank you guys. This episode has not even come out yet, but I'm thanking you guys in advance. Those who are going to be tuning into this, listening to this, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for your support. And this is going to be a really, really fun ride. So, first topic, why the Dad Lab? So, for some of you guys who have been following me for a while or who have known me back when I lived in Rockford, I used to have this podcast called The Everything Show. Shout out to you guys who have been around for that long. The Everything Show was a podcast that I ran with a couple of my buddies, Marquise, Maurice, and Jeremiah. Those are my brothers. You guys better be listening to this, otherwise you fake. I'm just kidding. But the Everything Show, I ran that with those three guys. It was a lot of fun, but all good things come to an end. We all went our separate ways, start doing our own things in a good way. But podcasting and content creating was something that I love to do, something I still love to do. And I always knew that I would someday come back to, doing podcasting. And I used to always tell my wife, shout out to Adela Johnson, my beautiful wife, but I used to always tell her, like, man, I really miss podcasting. I miss doing that. I miss the conversations. I miss the topics that used to come up. I miss the community that we used to have. I missed all of that. I had a lot of fun doing it. I did it with some great people. I miss all the guests that we had on the show. And she used to just tell me, like, dude, just do it. Just start something. Just do it, And those of you who know me, I'm the type of person who, I'm not starting something unless it's perfect. And, that could really slow you down in life. And, that has slowed me down in life. We'll get into that. I'm sure that'll be a topic sooner or later on this podcast. But, yeah, so I always knew that I would start a podcast up. I just didn't know what the topic would be. Those of you who know me, you guys know I love to talk about everything. That is part of the reason why we named the previous podcast The Everything Show. I like to talk about everything. If something pops up, I'll talk about it. If somebody says this, I'll talk about it. But I knew I needed to find a niche. I needed to really dive in and narrow down a topic. That's how you find a community. But I just couldn't figure out what topic I would want to talk about. So fast forward to November. That is when my wife and I welcomed in a beautiful baby. We had a daughter. Her name is Luna Elise Johnson. And right then and there when she was born, I knew what the podcast topic would be about. I'm just kidding. Some people are going to be like, why would you say that? But yeah, so I became a father. I became a dad, a superhero, whatever you want to call it. I became that day. So fast forward to the beginning of this year, which is 2022. I told myself, man, Jayvious, you're going to start a podcast this year. You're going to start. No matter what it is, no matter what it looks like, you're just going to start. No matter what equipment you have, just going to start. And I'm just sitting there and thinking and brainstorming topics, things that I like to talk about. And the number one thing that was on the top of my list was fatherhood, right? I love being a father. It brings so much joy to my life. It's something that will never be able to leave me. Like, I'll always be a father. I was like, that's perfect. I love talking about being a dad. I love talking about my family. It brings so much joy to me. Like, I could talk about it forever. And I was like, that's perfect. That is perfect. So fast forward to, I want to say about a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago, I brainstorm and jot down these different name ideas for the podcast, right? They were pretty good, if I do say so myself. And I went to Insta and FB and put these names in a poll and had the people vote. And then out came the Dad Lab. So that's kind of some of the background of how the name Dad Lab, or how the podcast came to be. But yeah, the ultimate purpose and the goal of this podcast is to create a space where dads can come to be transparent about fatherhood, the ups and downs. I mean, there are ups and downs to fatherhood, parenthood in general. But yeah, to create a space in a community where we can come together, have conversations, and not only for us fathers, but also for future fathers, or men who want to be fathers in the future. They can pull little things and stories and tips from our conversations and hold on to them and learn from our mistakes, because believe it or not, fathers make mistakes. So yeah, overall purpose is to really just create a space of transparency, conversation, stories, lessons, all of that. Not only for us, because I believe, the fathers in the room will be able to grow from it, but also people who are going to be going into fatherhood. I believe that this will be a good tool, a good place for them to come. They'll see that fatherhood isn't so scary, right? Being a dad isn't so scary if you're prepared. But yeah, that is the purpose of this podcast. Now, you guys know me. That is the purpose, but conversations can go here, or there. So I'm gonna try my best. I'm going to make sure, we stay on that theme. All right, we'll stay on that theme. All right, so let's go to the second topic. What to look forward to here in the Dad Lab. I know I said lab. We're literally in the closet, but just imagine this is the Dad Lab. Just wait till I have my own studio. It's gonna be really cool. But what to look forward to in the Dad Lab. So some things that you guys can look forward to. Like, I am so excited about what is to come in the Dad Lab. We're gonna have so much fun here. We're gonna have great conversations. But one thing that I am so excited for are the interviews, right? The interviews, I'll be bringing on dads, of course, and we'll probably do it through some type of remote, something like Zoom or StreamYard or something like that. I haven't quite figured out all the details, but I'll bring a dad on and I'll have questions ready. I'll ask you guys on social media to feed me some questions, and we'll really dive deep and pick the brains of other dads besides me. And I think that's going to be so fun. You guys are going to just see all the different types of dads there are, all the different types of stories that are out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're also going to be able to relate. The interviews are going to be, one reason why I'm so excited for the interviews is because it's going to be very relatable, I feel like. And, there'll be probably a story of like a baby, loves to grab hair, right? I know that's a weird example, but my baby Luna, my daughter, when she gets frustrated, she likes to squeeze things, right? And if she's close to your face, she'll squeeze my beard, my really long beard. I know the viewers, you guys can see my really long and full beard, but you guys listening, you can't. But I have a really, really manly beard. But anyway, my daughter, she likes to grab things. She'll pull my glasses off my face and everything. But just something like that. Like, other dads will bring something to the table, and other people will be able to laugh and be like, what? My kid does that too. So I'm really excited for the interviews because of that. Those will be really fun and very personal, I believe. But another thing you can look forward to are the Q&As. The Q&As will be a good way for myself and other people on the show to be able to connect with the audience, be able to connect through social media. And when we do that, you guys will be able to submit questions. Maybe that'll be like a live thing that we do. Ooh, that might be a good idea. Maybe that'll be a live thing that we do where I go on, this is just an example, but I go on Instagram Live and, I just open up the floor for questions, right? And I'll be able to answer them. Obviously, that's why it's named Q&A. But you know what? I need to write that down. That's actually a great idea. You guys have good ideas. Actually, I'll remember it. I know I always say that. I'm just gonna write it down. If you guys have stayed for this long, I want to thank you guys, because I know how some of you guys are. You'll just watch for 2 minutes, which is awesome. I thank you guys so much for even watching for 2 seconds, because that helps me out a lot. But those of you who are still here, I want to thank you. Thank you so much. But yeah, Q&As will be, I think the going live will be a really good idea, but I'll think about it more. You guys can let me know in the comments as well. And the last thing is the round tables. I cannot wait till we do a round table. Now, that'll be something that we'll be doing when I have, more space. But yeah, round tables will be where I'll take a bunch of dudes, right? Oh, that sounds kind of weird. Bunch of dads, and we sit at a table and we just conversate, right? And that'll be more of a free-flowing conversation that can go anywhere. Of course, we'll have an outline, but I think that'll be just a overall just great experience for you guys watching and listening. But that'll be something that we don't do as often, just because of the coordination of getting, a bunch of dads in a room, because dads do dad things. But that's another thing that you guys can look forward to. Those are just some things that I have written down for the podcast, but we're gonna have so much fun on this podcast. We're gonna grow. We're starting in a closet, but we're gonna be somewhere very different, and I am excited about that. That is what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to the growth that's gonna happen inside of me, just from connecting with other dads, connecting with other fathers, and just connecting with you guys as well. So I am so excited for that. And that brings us to the last topic. What is it like being a father? What is it like being a father? I get asked this a lot, right? Especially from my younger friends, or my friends my age. I'm young, right? 23 is young. Yeah, I'm young. But I get asked that a lot from people my age. I get asked that a lot. And typically when I answer this question is more of like a surface level, oh, it's awesome, type of thing. And obviously that doesn't do, the justice of what it's actually like being a father. Like, it's really something that you can't explain, but I'll do my best. You guys mind if I take a quick water break? Yes? Okay, thank you. I know taking a water break is probably not something you should do podcasting, but we just gonna do it. We're making our own rules in this podcast. So, what is it like being a father? It is one of the greatest responsibilities that I have ever experienced. Behind being a husband, that is top tier. That is, being a husband is top tier. All right, but being a dad is very rewarding, right? My daughter, she brings so much hope, to me. She brings so much joy into my life. When I became a father, the first time I saw my daughter and she took her first breath, my first thought was, wow, like, this is crazy, for multiple reasons. Number one was, it's crazy how God can just bless you with such a beautiful thing, right? The gift of life. And I was just in awe, like, I was in shock, like, whoa, like, of course, leading up to, when Adela was pregnant, all I could do was just imagine what I feel like. And when I saw her, when she first came out, I was just like, what? This is real, I mean, that first time, the first pregnancy, right? It's kind of like how do I explain? I was trying to explain this to my wife, but it's kind of like, is she really pregnant? Is there really a human in her? Like, it's one of those things where you see, the belly growing and you see the baby moving inside the belly, but it's one of those things where it's like, not saying I was suspicious of anything, but it was just, when she was born, I was just like, wow, this is real, right? This is real. And it was just such a blessing moment. But then this overwhelming feeling of fear just came crashing down on me, right? I start to just look at her like, wait a second, wait a minute. This little human, this little person is depending on me to protect her. This little human is depending on me to show her how to do things in life, right? Showing her how to be a good person, showing her how to have a relationship with God, showing her these very important things, right? Me, I gotta do it. And fear just hit me, anxiety just hit me. I'm like, oh crap, what did I just do? What did I just get myself into, right? And keep in mind, this all is happening within like 2 minutes. And then all of a sudden, peace hit me, right? Peace hit me. I started to think about, the God I serve and how graceful he is, how loving he is, how just awesome he is in general. And I started to think like, wait a second. I have a formula, right? I serve a God who has shown me how to be a great father since I was born. And I started thinking about my dad, right? My dad who grew up without a father, who grew up without a dad, and how he was able to turn his life around to become a great dad, right? And then I look at, all these other dads that I know in my life who are great role models, and I see all these examples around me, and I start to calm down, like, okay, I'm gonna be all right. And after that, then it came joy. That it went like a shocking feeling, then fear, then joy. And going back to what it's like being a father, it's such a great responsibility, because you start to realize that, okay, how I live my life, how I treat people, how I grow or not grow. Essentially, I am training my daughter up, to go into the world, right? I'm training my kids to go. I'm talking about the future because I'm gonna have more kids, but I'm training my kids to go out into the world. What kind of person am I, raising up to go out into the world? And that's such a great responsibility. And I think every parent, right, moms and dads, feel this. And whether you understand the responsibility, it's still there, right? It doesn't matter. And I start to just realize, like, I can't be this same person that I am today, right? Going back to when she was born, I can't be the same person. And you start to do things more unselfishly, right? Yeah, I really had to adjust who I was and how I lived my life when I got married, but a kid is on a whole nother level. Like, you really have to be unselfish. You're no longer doing things just for you anymore. Like, that is out the window. Yes, you can, go out and do yourself or treat yourself and do things for yourself, but everything you do affects your child. And that was one of the biggest things to me. Like, wow, like, this is crazy. But through that responsibility, I realized that I had a choice to make. I was either going to be a great father, like the God I serve, like my dad, like the other dads that I look up to, or I was just going to be the same old Jayvious. And I'm still going through this, but my child being born is forcing me to change for the better, right? Just because that's in my heart to do good, but she's changing me for the better. And that's why when I say it's rewarding, that's why I say it's rewarding, because it kind of just like gives you that little kick, like, boom, start moving, right? Start doing things. Because I don't just want to tell my kids how to live. I want them to see me do it, right? That way, they'll respect what I'm telling them, and they'll see the results in what I'm telling them. They're not just gonna be like, oh, I just got to do that. No, I'm telling you to do this because there's results, right? And here are the results. And I think that's one of the most powerful things you can have as a parent. That's one of the most powerful things that my parents had as parents, was that they didn't just tell us stuff, they showed us it, right? They showed us what happens when you do this, what happens when you do that. And words can only go so far when it comes to parenting. And I just went off on a whole tangent, but words can only go so far as a parent, especially when they become teenagers, because they start to think for themselves, and then they're looking at, okay, how did you live your life, right? You didn't do it, I'm not gonna do it either. I think it really does help, babies who grow up to be kids, grow up to be teenagers, grow up to be young adults. It helps them make that choice of who they're going to be and make the right choices in life, because they see the results of it. I know I just went on a whole tangent, but I think that's a good thing for this podcast, is to have an outline, but to be able to just go places, right? Go places. I'm pretty sure that's a slogan for some company. But anyway, back to what it's like being a father. It's so awesome, and I hope that everybody just gets to experience something like being a father, like being a parent, whatever that looks like. That brings us to the close. For this outro, I want to leave you guys with just encouragement. I want to leave you guys with something that you could, take with you and apply it and try it in your day-to-day life. And that is, drumroll, just start. Just start. I know that's so cliche, and it's so like, okay, well, what is that? How's that gonna help me? Just start. Just start. You guys are anything like me, and you want everything to be perfect, and you need everything to be perfect for you to start something. You gotta get over that hump, right? I struggled with fear of failure and a fear of just not being able to be consistent about something, and it's held me back from just starting something. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with my dad yesterday, and I asked him a simple question. I was just like, yo, Dad, what's some good lighting for a podcast? My dad is really into photography and videography. But I thought I was going to get, a simple answer in return. And my dad went in on me, right? He went preacher mode. And he was just like, that's not your problem. Your problem isn't the lights. It's that you need to be consistent, right? You need all this stuff to start when you should just start. You should just start. And, I'm still a son, and that's still my dad. And I was just, at the moment, I was annoyed, that he didn't tell me what I wanted to hear. But he was right. He was right. I was making up all these excuses on why I shouldn't start the podcast, right? I was saying, oh, I need this. Oh, I need this. I need that. I need that. When really I was just trying to run away from it possibly not turning out how I wanted it to turn out. And I was mad hearing what he said, but then at the same time, just like, the man is right. He calling me out. Sometimes criticism could be, it can be annoying to hear, but if it's, good criticism, constructive criticism, it's one of the best things in the world. So my dad just told me this yesterday, and I was like, dang, he's right. I should just start, right? I'm in a closet. You guys can see that I'm in a closet. There's clothes right there. There's shoes right there. My wife's clothes are over there. My daughter's clothes are over there. I'm in a closet. So I really had to apply what I'm telling you guys. Just got to start. You just got to start, and you never know what's going to come out from you starting. And I believe a lot of you listeners, you guys got this whole bag of things that you want to start. This whole bag of jewels, right? This whole bag of things that can turn out to just be great in the future. And we're just holding it in that bag. And you just got to start, because from you guys opening up that bag of things that you want to start and starting those things, you're handing out gifts to other people, right? People love seeing what you guys do, right? You're handing out inspiration to other people who are also holding back things that they want to start. And when we do that, we're doing the people we love, people who support us, no justice at all. We're doing them bogus, when we're just not starting things because of what we think could happen. And that's just encouragement that I want to give to you guys, you listeners, you people watching, is to just start. Just start. Just make sure it's, legal and morally good. Don't just start robbing banks or selling drugs. Don't do that. That didn't come from Jayvious. But yeah. Anyway, that is the close of today's podcast. I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. My name is Jayvious Johnson, and thank you guys for joining me in the Dad Lab.